Shalom, Yasharala. Abayat Abu Dad, the house of David. Call Halal Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim Rachachodash. Call Halal all praises to Yahweh, the Heavenly Father, Bahashim, in the name of Yahweh Shai, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. Bahashim, in the name of the Rachachodash, which is the Holy Spirit, that gives us all knowledge, wisdom, truth, and understanding. And double honors and salutations out to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who taught us this truth and rule well. But Tuwada for all of your diligency throughout all these years, for you are definitely worthy of double honors. As Scripture says, we have entered into another man's labors. So Tuwada for your diligency and your sincerity and your edification throughout the years. And Shalom also to the 144,000, which is the governing body of the kingdom to come, the elect. All right, which are 12,000 from each tribe, along with the 1/3, which consists of men, women, and children, the innumerable elect, all right, that have been blessed with the mark of the Tuwa, which is exemptment from judgment pursuant to Ezekiel 9:4. All right, keep pushing. We're at the end here. All right, and first and foremost, I'd like to start off with, as always, 1 Thessalonians 5:21. Prove all things and hold fast to which is good. So if you have your swords, Baba Kusha, please pull them out of their sheaths and follow along, as you will know that these are not my vain words or opinion, but the actual oracles of the Heavenly Fathers. That is the correct way to teach and to learn. All right. Now, the name of this lesson here, the Spirit kind of came upon me to do this because we know there's just been a lot of complaints and a lot of misunderstanding as to why we are in the position that we are in today. And Jake has been trying to go up some other way, all right, leaning to his own understanding to obtain salvation and that rest written in the scriptures, all right. But as we know, everything is done through the strength and power of Yahweh Bashim Yahshua's time, all right, and we have to wait, all right, we have to suffer, which means wait, all right, patiently for Yahweh Bashim Yahshua to make his return, our great King, where he may set up order and righteousness. So until then, all right, we have to endure hardship, as Scripture says, as a good soldier. And one of the main reasons why we haven't gotten there or to that point yet, as I said, because Yahweh Bashim Yahshua has yet to return. But Jake wants to know why we can't have sovereignty here, why we can't have a profiting and a prosperous nation. So name of this lesson is you don't have land, you won't have wealth. All right. So contrary to popular belief about us so-called blacks having to put our money together and, you know, and gain our, really increase the black dollar, right? Invest, all these different things, invest in your community, bring money back into our community. We've done all those things. We've tried those things over and over again, right? When you look at history, Black Wall Street, all right, Tulsa, Oklahoma, all right, it was a very thriving nation at that point. We were thriving at that time. We had our own businesses, our own stores, movie theaters, libraries, hospitals, fire departments, lawyers, you name it. We were prospering very well. And what happened? Esau Edom, aka the white man, found and will always find an excuse or a way to come in and destroy what we build. Why? Because as Scripture says, arise and depart, for this is not your rest. Okay, and it will destroy you with a sword of destruction, roughly paraphrasing. All right, this is not our rest. This is not our kingdom. Okay, our kingdom is yet to come. 2 Esdras 6:9. For Esau is the end of the world, which we're living right now, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. Okay, we are Jacob. Okay, so our world, our kingdom is yet to come. You've said it in the church a million times. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done here on earth as it is in heaven, right? So we have to patiently suffer and wait until Yahweh Bashim Yahushua cracks those skies, all right, and bring forth our salvation, all right, chiefly starting with the elect, okay? Those have been laboring in this truth, all right? Now, there's a video here that I found here on YouTube, and I'm going to bring it up. and again, this is just, Jake, scrambling for answers, all right, and solutions, to the questions that we have as to why we are at the bottom as a nation, why we can't thrive, why we can't be a part of the world court. and so forth. And it really all boils down to land ownership, all right? And because of the simple fact that what Jake doesn't realize is that, land is where real wealth is, all right? And one of the main reasons we as so-called African Americans will not get reparations is because America is part of the world court, right? And with being a part of the world court, America has to answer to any atrocities that is committed upon a people, okay? And in order for that to happen, there has to be a nation, a land, or a country of origin that basically claims us as their people, where we came from, all right, where we originated from, all right? But because of all of what, I'm gonna say 47 countries in Africa and 1,500 dialects, there's not one nation that claims us as a people. So therefore, in the world government, or in the world court, I should say, America is seen to have not have broken any civil rights laws or civil law. So therefore, with that being said, because we don't have a land or a place of origin, they don't have to give us reparations, right? And that's just point blank and period. All right, so like I said, now in this latter in times, Jacob been trying to really heavily go up another way, all right, to receive that salvation, but that's not gonna happen in this time. Okay, this is Esau's kingdom. Tupac even had a song back in the day. This is a white man's world. He was right. This is Esau's kingdom. This is not our kingdom. All right. Again, we have to wait patiently. Now, I'm going to pull this video up here, and I'm just going to touch on a few things here. I'll let it run for a couple of minutes, just so you can kind of get the understanding, which a lot of us so-called Negroes share this same mindset. All right. Simply because you don't understand what's happening. You don't understand what's going on. So let's go ahead and let's get into it. I'm going to cut this down a little bit here. This background music. Now let's get into this here. All right. Now I found this on, this is Joining the 1%. All right. And it says, 10 other reasons why blacks are poor and what they can do about it. Okay. This is wishful thinking on Jake's part, but we're going to go ahead and get into it anyway. So let's listen. I'm going to turn this volume up all the way here.
But today in this episode, we're talking about 10 reasons why blacks are poor and what they can do about it. 10 reasons why blacks are poor and what they can do about it. For those of you who might be a little bit more politically correct, 10 reasons why African Americans are poor and what they can do about it. We don't want to step on nobody's toes here.
Well, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
No, what were you going to say?
I was going to say anything. I was actually going to go into it, but then I remember you said you wanted to start with something.
Of course. So where does this conclusion come from that black people are poor? Because there's going to be some people out there that's going to be like, what about the white people? There's white people trash. There's Hispanics that are poor as well. Like, why are everybody's always picking on the black people in the ghetto and, what are you talking about, Mr. Genus?
So, well, for me, because I understand my community better than any other community.
Okay, yeah, I understand that. Yeah.
Well, let me answer it.
No, I am.
Jeez. See, what's happening here is what they don't understand is all these things that have happened to us as a nation are already written and have been written for over 2,000 years that it was foretold or prophesied to happen. There are curses that have been put upon our people and our people only. There is no way around it and there's no way out of it. The same power that put us into this position is going to be the same power we have to return to get out of this position. All right?
I'm basically, well, for me, I'm just answering it for me. For me, it's like, I know my community.
Yeah.
Right? And I grew up in my community. And I know the stats of our community. There's even some statistics out there that by 2054, the net worth within the African American community is going to be zero.
That's what I want to hear.
It doesn't mean everybody's going to be broke, but the majority of the people are going to have a net worth of zero.
The majority of black folks.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, remember.
Now, keep in mind, in our Constitution, we as so-called black folks are 3/5 of a human being, is what we're looked at. All right? Just below cattle. All right? And this is written in our Constitution. So all this was done by design. Okay, but again, Jake has a hard time wrapping his head around it because Jake is leaning to his own understanding. He's looking and thinking in a carnal mindset and manner, as opposed to spiritual and understanding the reason why we're here. All right, but I just wanted to add that is by law in the Constitution.
Remember, there's statistics for just about everybody in America. Everybody in America. So this particular show that we're doing, this episode is really just focusing on African Americans and the economy within the African American community. Because if you look around and look at all the statistics, for some reason or another, we always tend to be on the bottom, right?
Yeah.
We always tend to be on the bottom. We're on the bottom. We're the highest of unemployment. When it comes to net worth, we're very low. When it comes to the circulation of our dollars don't circulate much. I think within 6 hours, the dollar is out of the black community. We don't have as much business as compared to other communities based on our population size. We have 2.6 million African American businesses, but only around 1 or 1.2% of them can actually hire 1 or 2 employees. So we have a lot of work to do. And so for me, I ain't got time to talk about nobody else. I'm just gonna keep it real. Like, I think, some communities are doing okay. They still have their problems.
Yeah.
Trust me, they got their crazy people, they got their nuts, they got their gangs also. So we're not saying that only black people are struggling. No, other communities are struggling too. They may not be struggling as a whole the same way we are, right? So they still got good and bad, and we got good and bad. Like, this show is great. Yet at the same time, you and I both know we got people in our own family who's struggling, who's broke, who got some issues, and
I just think it's important just to.
Right. So again, everything that he's saying is pretty much describing, without unbeknownst to him, the curses that are written within the scriptures. So yeah, there are other nations that may be without, but none to the point where we have been. Right. When you have, when we were brought here, and you have over 250 to 400 years of free labor, off of a people. If you look at all of the things that we should have gotten compensation for since our bringing here, we would be the wealthiest nation on the planet if it was done righteously, but it wasn't. All right, all that again was done by design. Okay, and in order to really get a true understanding of it, you're gonna have to go into the scriptures. You're gonna have to go back. As a matter of fact, here I'm gonna go in here to I'm gonna do, what is it, Exodus. I want to say, let me see here. Look at Exodus. I want to say 3, 3rd chapter here. Let's go on here. Because everyone knows the story how we were in Egypt, all right, for 430 years, right? And Yahweh Bahasham Yahushua raised up Moses, all right, gave him that eye salve, that spiritual understanding to lead us out of Egypt, all right, and give us a promise. So let's go ahead and let's actually read that. And the Lord said, I have surely seen the affliction of my people which are in Egypt, and have heard their cry by reason of their taskmasters, for I know their sorrows. I am come down to deliver them out of the hand of the Egyptians, and to bring them up out of the land unto a good land, and a large, unto a land flowing with milk and honey. All right. Matter of fact, let me go ahead and let's just pull this here real quick. Milk and honey here. What is that? Slovakia here. Right here. We'll get okay. Large into land. Milk. Okay. It's a Hebrew word. Halab. Milk. An abundance of land. Metaphor. Okay. As the richness of kind. Cheese, milk, suckling, right? So basically a prosperous land, all right? A very fertile land, an abundance of it, going back to wealth, okay? Back into the scripture here. Flowing with milk and honey unto the place of the Canaanites and the Hittites and the Amorites and the Perizzites and the Hivitites and the Jebusites, right? So these were the nations that were inhabiting the land before we got there. But that land was destined for us because that is the Lord's choice land. All right. He chose Jerusalem as his favorite place because that is the land of milk and honey. That is a very, very fertile land when everything is back in order and the rightful people are back in the land. All right. That's the hub or the HQ of the world, or will be in the kingdom to come. All right. So the understanding that happened, we were brought out of Egypt, right? With Moses, we were brought onto Mount Sinai. Okay. And Mount Sinai, what did we do? We made a covenant, which was a marriage contract, all right, until Yahweh Hashem Yahushua, all right, in which he were given the laws to us on stone tablets. And we said within those laws that were given, all that is written, we shall do. And Moses took his hand and he sprinkled it and he dipped it in a blood basin and he sprinkled it on the altar and he sprinkled it on us, on the people. And that blood is spiritually on us still today. All right. That was a wedding ceremony. Okay. Well, we would promise, okay, that we would do everything that was written within the law. All right. In righteousness in Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, that we will follow the order. And in doing so, when you go to Deuteronomy 28, which we will go to, I will show you the benefits of that. As a matter of fact, let's go here now. This is Deuteronomy 28. And I know a lot of you may have heard brothers bring out these scriptures before because they're very, very important. And they tell the story and outline of who we are as a people and what has happened to us and, and why. All right, so this is the blessing. All right, so matter of fact, let's get into it here. Now, from 1 to, I believe, 14 to 15 are all the blessings that would have come upon us had we kept that covenant, right? And it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice thy power, the Lord thy power, and to observe to do all his commandments which I've commanded thee this day, right? When we came out of Egypt and we were there at Mount Sinai, the Lord thy power shall set thee on high above all the nations of the earth, right? We would be in rulership, you see? And all these blessings shall come unto thee and overtake thee if thou shalt hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy power. Blessed shall thou be in the city, and blessed shall thou be in the field. Now the field is the world. As a matter of fact, just to prove that, because we like to do that, I'm just going to jump that here real quick. Matthew 13. And where's it at here? Explanation here. Where it came. Wheat and the tares. It talks about the wheat and the tares. Oh, as a matter of fact, I think it's up here. Yeah, these guys went out. And hang on a second here. It's actually, I think it's down here. As a matter of fact, more. Yeah, it should be down at 35 or 30. Yeah, here it is. The field is the world, and the good seed are the children of the kingdom, but the tares are the children of the wicked one. You see? The good seed are the children of the kingdom, which are the children of Israel. And the children of the wicked one, all right, Esau, Edom, okay? Because we know the power that we serve is a power of balance, all right? So I just wanted to point out, this is how the Bible works. All right, precept shall be upon precept, line upon line. Here a little in this book, there a little in that book. And it gives explanations. So the field is the world. All right, and I just wanted to point that out. Now, as we go back to the Deuteronomy here. So, like I said, Jake has all of these these zealous ideas, but he doesn't understand why we're in them and what to do to get out of them. So it says, blessed shall thou be in the city, and blessed shall thou be in the field. Blessed shall thou be in the fruit of thy body, meaning thy children, right? Blessed shall the fruit of thy ground, and the fruit of thy cattle, and the increase of thy kind, and the flocks, and of thy sheep. What's that talking about? Money. Salakia. Wealth. You see, because that is the true wealth, having land, ownership. Blessed shall thou be in thy basket and thy stores, right, and our bank accounts. Okay? That's right off top when you go into the blessings. One of the first things that's mentioned. Land ownership. Okay? Riches. Blessed shall thou be when thou cometh in, and blessed shall thou be when thou cometh out. And the Lord shall cause thy enemies to rise up against thee and be smitten before thy face, and they shall come out against thee one way, and they shall flee 7 ways. Right. And the Lord shall command these blessings upon thee and thy storehouse, and all that thou settest thine hand unto, and he shall bless thee in the land which the Lord giveth thee. Land. You see? Land is key. And because we don't have land here, okay? Hence the reason why we don't have reparations. There will never be, as a nation, a prosperous so-called black people. Okay, that's just not going to happen. Every nationality has a land or a place of origin that they can go back to. Chinese have China, Russians have Russia, so forth and so on. If they want to go back to their nation, back to their land, they can go, they can get loans, business loans and financial loans, and go to other countries and open businesses and whatnot. Why? Because they have commerce and things where they can trade. See, when you have land, all right, you have you're able to be a part of the world court. All right, you can harvest, you can grow your agriculture, you can do traffic and trade, you can set up your own governments. All right, through that you can build your own military. Okay, and through that you can start to share, traffic, and trade and be a part of the world court. That's true wealth. But without land, you don't have that. Every nationality on the planet has a country they can go to that has their own establishment of a government, right? Their own sovereignty within that land, right? Okay, they have their own financial structure within that land, and they're all a part of the world court. They all have their own militaries, whether great or small. They have them. So you tell me, where's African American land? I see you Jakes want to continually talk about, putting the money together and building an economy here, and all these zealous, false dreams that are going to lead to nowhere, man. Because you have to understand the position in which we are in and why we are in this position. Okay? Goes on to say, the Lord will establish thee a holy people, holy meaning separate, unto himself, as he has sworn unto thee, if thou shalt keep his commandments of the Lord thy power, and walk in his ways. And all the people of the earth shall see thou are called by thy name, and they shall be afraid of thee. Right. Just no different than, see, the Lord, like if you were walking and you were to move a rock or a stone and you see, crickets or ants underneath, what's the first thing they do? They flee. Why? Because the Lord put the spirit of fear in insects and animals. You can go to the woods, you see a deer's going to see you and dart. That's a spirit of the Lord put in that creature. That same spirit is going to be put into the nations when they see us. They will instantly fear. Right? But because of us breaking the commandments, all right, not keeping the covenant, walking against and contrary to the Lord, all these things have befallen us and will continue to befall us until we return on Yahweh Bashim Yahshua holy, and he comes back and he receives his purchased possession. Okay? And it goes on to say, and the Lord shall make thee plenteous in goods, and in the fruit of thy body, meaning thy children, the fruit of thy cattle, and in the fruit of thy ground, right? Our land will be milk and honey. It will be a very fertile land beyond imagination. All right. And the land which the Lord sware unto your fathers to give thee. You see that? The Lord shall open unto thee his good treasures. The heavens shall give rain unto the land in its season, and to bless all the work of thine hands, and thou shalt lend unto many nations, and thou shalt not borrow. We will be the lending house to the world. All the nations of the earth will come and they will have to lend to us, not lend from us. You see, we will not borrow from anyone on the planet. But what's our condition today? Do you want to open a business? Where do you have to go? You want to buy a car? Where do you have to go? You want to get a bank loan? Who do you have to go to? You see? See, everything is set up backwards because of what we did. So it has nothing to do with us coming together as a people and putting together our money. No. But it has everything to do with us returning back onto Yahweh Bahashim Yahushua. That's the key and the pathway out of this nightmare. Goes on to say, and the Lord shall make thee the head and not the tail. Right. And when we go down here in the curses, you'll see that that's the opposite. And thou shalt be above only, and thou shalt not be beneath. And if thou hearken unto the commandments of the Lord thy power, I command thee this day to do and observe all of them, and thou shalt not go aside from them of any words which I have commanded thee this day, to the right hand or to the left, to go after gods and to serve them. Right. Don't go after Christianity. Don't go after Islam, Hinduism, Roman Catholic Church, and all of these other pagan, wicked philosophies and religions, because our power is a jealous power. All right. So let's just go in here to some of the curses here, because these is where all the blessings were. And those things can be, we can go into those for days. We'll be blessed in all that we set our hands to do, right? And we'll just be blessed. All right. The consequences for disobedience. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe all these things and the commandments and statutes, so I command thee this day. Right. All these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee. Cursed shall thou be in the city, and cursed shall thou be in the field. Are we not cursed in the cities and in the world? Cursed shall thou be in thy basket and thy storehouses. We were just watching this video. They're talking about how we are poor. We're at the bottom. We're beneath all the nations. All right, no one has it as bad as we do. We can't seem to get it together. Cursed shall thou be in the fruit of thy body, meaning our children, and cursed shall thou be in the increase of thy kind, and thy flocks, and thy sheep. Right. We have no money. We have no wealth. Cursed shall thou be when thou cometh in, and cursed shall thou be when thou goeth out. Right. When you're born, what do you do? What's the first thing you do? You sign, your parents do. They sign a birth certificate, which is a binary contract of servitude. All right, which makes you servant to the state. Okay, that is a curse. All right, and when you go out, when you die, what are you left with? Your family's not left with an inheritance. There's nothing. When my grandmother passed, there was no money or no inheritance to leave on to us and for our generation to come. You have to gather up money just to be able to pay for the funeral, pay for the caskets, pay for the headstone, which is in the ground, right? These things are a curse, Jake. No sin upon thee, cursing and vexation and rebuke, and all thy set at thy hands to do. Right. Everything that we try and do or try and accomplish some way or another, it never ends up working out. Why do you think that is? It's spiritual, Jake. Until thou be destroyed, until thou perish quickly because of the wickedness of thy doings, wherefore by thou hast forsaken Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai. Thou will make the pestilence to cleave unto thee until thou be consumed off the land whither thou go to possess it. Right. Wherever we go to possess a land, we're not going to be able to hold it. And these pestilence, these curses will cleave onto us. Matter of fact, let me get that now. I just want to see this in the NLT. The Lord will affect you with diseases until none of you are left in the land, and you are about to enter or occupy. Who's the highest? What nation is the highest when it comes to sicknesses and diseases? High blood pressure, high cholesterol, dementia, diabetes. Who is that? And thy heathen that is over thy head shall be, and the heaven that is over thy head shall be brass, and the earth shall be under thee as iron. Right. This is all going into hardship, man. Slavery, servitude. And the Lord shall make rain, and the Lord shall make the rain of thy land powder, and the dust of the heavens shall come down upon thee until thou be destroyed. Okay? So these are all the curses. So through a process of elimination, when you're looking at all 18 nations that the Lord created at the very beginning that are all still here today, there's only one group of people that fits these curses that are written within this book, man. All right, only one group of people. Let me go down here a little more here. Let me go down to about 40s. And the Lord shall bring thee and thy kings, which thou shalt set over thee, unto a nation which neither thou nor thy fathers have known. And there you shall serve other gods, wood and stone. You see that? Wood and stone, Christianity, Islam, but that goes even farther than that. You're not just talking about idolatry in general. Because in the ancient days, you make deities and gods out of stone, out of metal, out of wood, all these different things. So just serving other gods in general. All right. A nation which our fathers have not known, that's here in America. You see? And thou shalt become an astonishment, a proverb, and a byword. As a matter of fact, let me just go into this. Proverb, byword. Similitude, a parable. Okay, proverb, saying. All right, let me see here. Original sense, supporting of mental action. Maxim, use of metaphorically by nature. It's poem disclosed like parable, proverb, right. Nigger, porch monkey, black. All these are proverbs, and matter of fact, let me get the byword here too. Byword. Sharp word, shut, cauding, a taunt. Someone's taunting you, they're calling you, they're insulting you. As I said, wetback, spick, porch monkey. Everywhere we go, these are the curses that are put on us. Okay? Let's go down here to about 46 here. And they shall be upon thee for a sign and for a wonder, and upon thy seed forever. Right. So if you're driving down the highway, right, and you see in the midst, there's all kind of restaurants. You see in the midst, there's just this pole that sticks up on the right hand side as you're on the highway, and it has a yellow golden arch. Doesn't have any name on it, just a yellow golden arch. What restaurant is that? What fast food restaurant is that? Yellow golden arches. That's McDonald's. How do you know that? Because it's for a sign in the center. It doesn't have to say McDonald's. You can just see, you can tell the sign of it. So in order to find out who these people are in the world, all of these signs will be upon these people to let you know who these people are, who this scripture or this chapter is talking about, the children of Israel, the so-called blacks and Latinos and Native Indians. All right? For a sign and for a wonder. Okay? Let's see here. Let's go to 48. And therefore thou shalt serve thine enemies, which the Lord shall send against thee in hunger and in thirst and in nakedness and what? And in want of all things. And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until ye have destroyed thee. Matter of fact, let's see what this yoke of iron is talking about. He shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck. Let's see, yoke of iron upon the neck. Let's get some images of that. Wow, look at that. A yoke of iron upon thy neck. Who is that? You can't make this up, Israelites 101. Get it down here. See that? That's you. Ephraim and Judah. So-called Latins and so-called Negroes. Yoke of iron upon thy neck. So you can't make this up, okay? The Bible is undisputed. These are the signs and the wonders and how you would know who these people are in the scripture. All right? Why? Because we departed from the way of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. That's why. That's why all this happened. There ain't no way out of it. Okay? There ain't no solution to getting out of this. There's no back door. Okay? All this is happening and will continue to happen until we return unto Yahweh Shem Yahushua. Okay, let's go to 51 here. And he shall eat the fruit of thy cattle and the fruit of thy land until thou be destroyed, which also shall not leave neither corn nor wine nor oil or any crease of kine or flocks or sheep until thou have destroyed thee. Right. So you have to understand that in Deuteronomy 28, all of these are a combination or accumulation of all of the captivities that we went into. Okay, this isn't just one, because we went into a plethora of captivities, all right, throughout the Bible, all right? And it's just listing all of the different things that would happen to us within these captivities, okay? 56 here. So that he will not give thee any of them of the flesh of his children whom he shall eat, because he has nothing left. He has nothing left him in the siege. and the straightness wherein thine enemies shall distress thee in all thy gates. Right. So this is talking about in Jerusalem, right? 70 AD. All right. Because back then we ate our children. The Lord put the spirit on us to eat our children. And guess what? That spirit of cannibalism is coming back. Because you 2/3 don't want to listen, and the Lord is getting ready to rain down terrible judgment, man. All right, there's no coincidence why our supply chain has been shut down, and they're not even talking about it anymore. But you notice through the years, food selection is getting less and less in the stores today, right? But you Jakes want to talk about having your own wealth and building, all right, in this place of destruction, all right, in this low place, all right, in this valley of death and wickedness. But you want to live here and prosper here. See how lost and how gone you are when you really step back and you really look at what's happening here? 63. And ye shall be left few in number, whereas ye were the stars of heaven of multitude, because thou wouldest not obey the voice of the Lord thy power. Right, left few in number. We are scattered everywhere, man. Right, but we are left few in number. You see? Moreover, he will bring upon thee all the diseases of Egypt, which thou wast afraid of, and they shall cleave unto thee. Okay? So this is talking about a particular people, man. And it shall come to pass that as the Lord rejoices over you to do good, right? When he rejoices when we are in our righteousness, and to multiply you, so the Lord will rejoice over to destroy you and to bring you into naught. And ye shall be plucked up from off the land whither thou goest to possess it. And that what happened? Black Wall Street. We were building there, right? We were prospering there, were we not? And what happened? The Lord put the spirit on them damn devils to pluck us up off there, man, and destroy us, man. And that was in Black Wall Street, Rosewood. You know, there's plenty other places where the atrocities happen. The Devil's Punch Bowl, you know, so forth and so on. All right, I did a lesson actually on my channel called "Drunken by the Blood of the Saints," and I go into all that history. All right, where we tried to prosper. Okay, we tried to build as a nation, and we're destroyed because Jake is trying to go up another way. He's not understanding why we're in the situation that we are in. Because Christ has kept this whole world in general in the beginning was created for us. Matter of fact, let's get it. So down here. And now, O Lord, behold, these heathens, which have ever been reputed as nothing, have begun to be lords over us and to devour us, right? Who are these heathens? Chiefly Esau, Edom, and the rest of the nations, all right? Those that we have to lend to, those that we have to work for, right? You good enough and going to your job right now and they're going to punch in to work for a company that another nation owns. None of y'all on here are going to a company where Jake owns. Jake talked about why I own my own house, I own my own business. No, you don't. Stop paying the property taxes on your house. Stop paying the property taxes on your business and see what happens. You see, you have no sovereignty here, Jake. You don't own nothing. But we, thy people, whom thou hast called thy firstborn, thy only begotten, and thy fervent lover, are given into their hands. Right. The Lord gave us unto them. If the world now be made for our sakes, why do we not possess an inheritance with the world? How long shall this endure? How long? You see? So, why did this happen? Root, let's go to 3 and 8. Because Jake has the idea that he's going to build and prosper. Behold, we are yet this day in our captivity, this day, today, right now, where thou hast scattered us for a reproach and a curse, and to be what? Subject to payments. What payments? Your rent, car note, your insurance, right? Your light bill, your electric bill. Subject to payment. Well, the Lord, we just read here that it was made for our sake. So why are we subject to payments? And to who are we paying for? We're not the lenders. All right? We're paying to them. Why? According to all the iniquities of our fathers which departed from the Lord our power. You see? That's why. So Jake has to understand that's why. So let's look at the understanding of land and wealth within the land. Here's an article that I found here. This is Nigeria, developing the wealth of a nation. All right, I'm just going to read a little bit of it here. All nations will prosper if they are able to develop their wealth. All nations have comparative advantages over one another because there is no nation without natural resources like what? Land. And people located with unique environment. National prosperity is created and not inherited. It does not only grow out of the country's natural endowments, its labor pool, its interest rates, or its currency value. As classical economics insists, national wealth is created from the efficiency of the residents living in what? A country, a land of their own. Prosperous nations are not those with large populations nor small populations. That's right, that's actually true. They are not those that are endowed with natural resources, but those which can use their population, either large or small, and natural resources to increase the efficiency of the people and to exploit resources and development to maintain a lead. There are two types of economy. The knowledge economy of agrarian economy, which is basically cultivation, right, of the land. And knowledge of economy of advanced economy describes the commodifications and economic value derivative from research and development. Agrarian economy is the economy which is highly dominated by primary industries like what? Farming, fishing, lumbering, etc. And substance means the production. The wealth of a nation depends on which economy it's used most. Right. So there's two different economies that are used, but both economies are used within the land that the people inhabit. And that is key. And without that land, none of this is possible, nor makes sense. There are four factors that aid the production of goods and products, on which production of services hinges. These factors are entrepreneurs, land, capital, and machinery. There is no nation without land that can be used for production of food and products, right? To be a part of the world court, to trade, traffic and trade, okay, to build, all right? To be prosperous as a nation, you need land. What makes a difference between wealth and poor nations is how they are able to organize their factors of production to generate wealth. That is how they are able to develop their land. Entrepreneurs, capitals, and machinery to create wealth. You see, you use these things, use your land to create wealth. Okay? There's no other way to go up about doing it, man. Even when you look in the scriptures here, as a matter of fact, let's go here to look at it's a beautiful representation here, example here, Genesis, I want to say, what is it, 13th chapter? Lot and Abraham and Lot. And Abraham went out of Egypt, and him and his wife and all that he had, and Lot with him into the south. Slakia. And Abraham was very rich in cattle and silver and in gold. And he went on his journey from the south even to Bethel and unto a place where his tent had been at the beginning between Bethel and Hai, unto a place of the altar which he had made there at the first. And there Abraham called the name of the Lord. And Lot also, which went with Abraham, had flocks and herds and tents. And the land was not able to bear them. This is how much money and how wealthy they were, that they might dwell together, for their substance was great, so that they could not dwell together. You see that? All that because of what? Their cattle, their land. All goes back to their land. And there was a strife between the herdmen of Abraham's cattle and the herdmen of Lot's cattle. And the Canaanites and Perizzites dwelled in the land. And Abraham said unto Lot, let there be no strife, I pray thee, between me and thee, and between thy herdmen and between my herdmen and thy herdmen, for we be brethren. That's right. It's not the whole land before us? Separate thyself, I pray thee, from me. If thou wilt take the left hand, then I will go to the right. If thou wilt depart to the right hand, then I will go to the left. And Lot lifted up his eyes and beheld all the plains of Jordan. And there was dwelt water on everywhere, before the Lord destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah, and even the garden of the Lord, like the land of Egypt, as thou cometh unto Zoar. So that was a land of milk and honey there. And Lot chose him the plains of Jordan, and Lot journeyed east, and they separated themselves one from another. You see that? So they had such great substance, all right, that they were rich beyond imagination, man. Okay, even in Job, let's look at Job. These are just some of the men, all right, that were in the scriptures that were rich. Why? Because they had substance. Okay, they had land within their. They owned cattle. Resources within their lands. Okay. Let me go to we just do Job 1. And there was a man, this is Job 1:1. And there was a man in the land of Uz whose name was Job. And that man was perfect and upright, and one that feared the Lord and eschewed evil, right? Basically shunned evil. And there was born unto him 7 sons and 3 daughters. His substance also was 7,000 sheep, 3,000 camels, 500 yokes of oxen, 500 she-asses, and a very great household. So this man was the greatest of all men of the East. You see that? As a matter of fact, let me just go in here real quick. This is something also I found here. Meet 7 wealthy Bible figures who made up billions from amassed assets which are calculated today. All right, here. Personally, one thing to find out very difficult to imagine is the way the Bible mentions the amount of time and years one person to another. For an example, the book of Numbers, when God punished the Israelites for the unwillingness to take Canaan after the 12 spies scout went to the land, right? Talking about Joshua and Caleb. God decreed that the Israelites would wander in the wilderness 40 years for their punishment, all right? And unprecedented punishment sometimes becomes impossible to believe, all right? There's almost half a century with the average of a man's lifespan, okay? Goes on to say here, now and here. Let's just get here to the point here. Another's also the oldest men in the Bible were most lived to be 900 years old. That's right. Can't imagine how someone of that age would look, but I guess we'll never be able to find that out. Sure we will. But focus today, Bible's facts. We brought 7 people in the Bible who are wealthy downright. If you've ever thought of someone, of some of what I've just said above, you have also ever wondered how wealthy the wealthiest people were in the Bible. What was their source of wealth? How much could they amass during their existence on earth? How can you compare the riches of men in our world today? An inability to calculate their net worth, owning and how low degree of development in the Bible times won't deter us from ranking to them as we estimate some of them and what their Bible gave us. In no particular order below are 7 wealthy individuals from the Bible who could have been billionaires or even trillionaires with their wealth today. Job, having over 61.7 million in wealth. All right, and all of these has various sources of income, not just gold, as it says here. Job's net worth today from only animals prices will be over $61 million or 23.6 billion, depending on the currency. You see that? Why? Because Job had land. Of course, they're going to put Edomite up there. Why? Because Job had land. Okay, it's all about land. All right. And here from the book of Job in the Old Testament, Job was feared of the Lord, and undoubtedly among the individuals to suffer for his love of our power. In the outset of the story, Job was a very wealthy person who lost everything. His friends, his family told him to curse God and die. Yeah, his wicked ass wife there, she told him to curse God and die. Why? Because she couldn't handle the fact that the Lord was putting all these curses to him. But it all boiled down to faith at the end of the day, because that's what this answer to this whole thing is. The way back to the Father in righteousness and riches is faith. All right, returning, repenting, and having that faith. All right, and due to his misfortune, but he didn't give in, preferring the curse the day he was born instead. Okay, so you see there, and I'm just going to run through these here, talking about Job. God's final blessing was exceedingly double for what he had, and he lived to see 4 generations more. Look at all that land he had. Far as the eye could see, man. Land is the key, Jake. Joseph, uncertain here. All right, and it says, and you know about Joseph was set up in Egypt, man. All right, he was the second hand in command under Pharaoh. All right, because the Heavenly Father put that spirit of favor on him with the Egyptians, man, and he was the man running everything. All right, and here's the account where his brother sold him in. Look at that, they got Jake here selling Joseph, who's a Edomite. Boy, you damn devils is something else, man. Y'all gonna pay for this madness, I swear. But damn, it is what it is. All right, so after many ups and downs, Joseph interpreted Pharaoh's dream and was ultimately led to his appointed as the governor, depending on the Bible's version, right? Because he was able to expound on his dream. The Pharaoh basically set him up, gave him to be governor over all the land. Again, going back to the land, okay? Man, the Bible things, let me see here, in here, the Egyptians here. All right, so since we have not been able to know the exact cost of garments and silver and money, we can at least calculate the donkeys. And in the U.S. today, a donkey costs $500 to $2,000, depending on the age and size. One of them Joseph shelled out at the cost of $1,000. Then 20 of them would be roughly $20,000 or 7.7 million, depending on the currency. Note that this is just what he gave them to use for immigrating from where they lived into Egypt. How much more should he have then been worth? We can't dispute that Joseph would have obviously been a billionaire from today's calculations, and shows how much God blessed him. Queen Sheba, over $1 trillion, or 383 trillion, depending on the currency. Now, if they got that right, okay, she was all right, she was Eve, all right, she was a black, okay, so-called, all right. Known for her generosity to King Solomon at the time of the reign over Israel, Queen Sheba is another wealthy person in the Bible, right? All right. According to 1 Kings 10, she gave the king 120 talents of gold and a great number of priceless spices. Queen Sheba also gave King Solomon more than 4 tons of gold, which each year to build up the temple of Yahweh in Mount Jerusalem, and God and the table of Mount in Jerusalem, Slakia. In the modern day calculations, 1 talent of gold today will be 2.1 million, or 815 million, depending on, of course, on currency. Therefore, 120 talents would be worth 255.6 million, or 97.9 billion. Okay, so it takes only a trillionaire to give trillions, and Queen Sheba was definitely one of them. Abraham, uncertain. We talked about his riches, all right, his cattle and all that he had and all that was given to him. The calculation of camels today should be worth between 5,000 to 20,000, and one ass or a donkey early should cost anywhere between 500 and 2,000. The blessing is aside from the monetary part of gold, silver, and which was worth millions today. Why? Because all of these great men had land. As little as the Bible may mention, it was shown that Abraham's wealth is calculated today would be worth billions. Isaac, another one. All these damn Edomites, man. Something else here. All right. Another one who was extremely wealthy. All right. And then we got King David, worth over 212 billion, or $81.2 trillion. That damn Edomite. You see? All right. And then we go down here to the very last here, which is who? King Solomon. Over 2 trillion, or $766 trillion. All right. Because King Solomon had it all, man. All right. And even in the scriptures, Queen Sheba thought that his servant was actually him, because his servant was he was so jeweled out. Why? This all goes back to land ownership. Okay. And why? Chiefly because they followed the law, statutes, and commandments of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. They stayed in order. So therefore they were blessed, Jake. They didn't try to go up some other way. You see? And that's the problem. If 1 ton of gold, as early as noted, was worth 64.3 million, or 24.6 billion today, 25 tons would be worth 1.61 billion, or 616.6 billion. And total, King Solomon garnered about 62.7 billion, or 24 trillion, in gold alone. He had so much gold that it began to lose value at the time. Various scholars have said that his peak net worth was about 2 trillion or 766 trillion, which would be the highest in the Bible from known calculations. It's intriguing to know the amount of rich people in the Bible had, knowing that they are far richer than the elite today. And these are some of the elites. Some of the richest men today, such as Jeff Bezos here, Bill Gates here, Elon Musk here, hasn't even made up half of what King Solomon had cumulatively. Right. These men are broke as hell compared to what we're going to have, let alone what our ancient forefathers had. You see? Broker than I don't know what. Okay? So this is the beauty of how Yahweh Bashim Yahushua works, man. But we have to come back to our righteousness. We have to return. That's how we build our wealth, our nation, and our people, that we prosper. Okay? Because once we come back, that elect number is drawn in, this destruction can end. The rule of the heathen and the Edomites will be over with forever, and we will be at rest in the kingdom. Not on this side. Okay? This is why it's very, very important to know. Matter of fact, let me go to Ezekiel here. Let's go grab a few more scriptures here and we're going to be out. Here, it's Ezekiel. This is 39. Here, let's see, around the 28. Verse God in there. And then it should be known that I am the Lord, their power, which caused them to be led into captivity among the heathen, which we are today. But I have gathered them unto their own land, and have left none of them and any more there. So this is a coming prophecy that's going to happen. We'll be gathered and brought back into our own land. And only then will we have the riches of the world, man. Okay, when all of the heathen Gentiles will bring on their forces onto us, man. And we will prosper like never before. But first we had to go through it. Okay, and that goes back to Deuteronomy to 28 from 1 to 14, talking about all of the blessings that we receive, right? Isaiah 60, we'll just get to the point. Therefore thy gates shall be open continually, and they shall not be shut day nor night, that men may bring unto thee the forces of the Gentiles, and their kings may be brought. The forces. Let's get that word, the forces. What's that talking about? The forces. Hebrew word halal. Strength, ability, wealth, forces, army, valor, substance. You see? Riches. All the nations of the earth will bring their riches onto us, man. Why? Or when? When we are brought back in our righteousness, not on this side. Okay? Let everything be done decently in order, and there's an order to this thing. All right? That's the only way that we're going to be able to get back to our righteousness, man. By returning first and foremost unto Yahushua. Isaiah 49 and 21. Then shalt thou say unto thine heart, who has begotten thee, Salakia? Who has begotten me these, seeing I have lost my children, and I am desolate, a captive, and removing to and fro, and who has brought these unto thee? Behold, I was left alone. These they had been. Basically, right, because in the curses, what? It says our children, our sons and daughters will be given unto another nation, right? Matter of fact, let's get this in the NLT. But here we will be fruitful. Then you will look and think to yourself, who has given me all these descendants? For most of my children were killed, right, in the curses. And the rest were carried away into exile, right, in Deuteronomy, which we read. And I was left here all alone. Where did all these people come from? Who bore these children? Who raised them up for me? Yahweh Bahashim, Yahweh Shai did. You see, goes on to say, Isaiah 49:23, and thy kings shall be thy nursing fathers, and thy queens thy nursing mothers. And they shall bow down unto thee with their face towards the earth, and lick the dust from thy feet. It's not meaning literal, basically meaning they will be in servitude. All right? And thou shalt know that I am the Lord thy power. For the Lord will, Salakia, for they shall not be ashamed that wait for me. You see? And this is what we humbly wait for. This is how salvation is going to be brought to us, Jake. No other way. Okay? We have to serve out the punishment that is done here, Baruch 3 and 8. We have to pay these payments, subject to payments, until we are out of here. You're not getting out of this last captivity. No matter how much you want to put your money together, right? Now how much you want to build, come together and invest, it's not going to happen. Yeah, you have your twos and fews here that'll be rich, but as a nation, we are nothing. You see? And all that was ordained to happen. This is the last captivity, Jake. If you just hold on and return back to Yahweh Hashem Yahushua, you will see the things that are waiting for us. But it's not going to happen on this side. Those are vain dreams and ideas and thoughts that are going to lead you to destruction, man. There's no way out of this. No way. All right? So anyway, I just wanted to, do a quick lesson here. Again, the name of this lesson is called if you don't have land, you won't have wealth. And the only way to get land and to get wealth is to return back to that old path and walk therein, which is the path of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua. Repent and return and come back onto him, and he will lead us back into the land of prosperity, man. All right, the land of milk and honey. All right. Well, the last thing we'll ever have to worry about or wonder about is riches. We'll have the whole world, man. You see? So this is what we patiently wait for and suffer for. All right. So anyway, I just want to give an understanding, hopefully that this lesson was edifying. I want to say, call hello Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rachachudash. Shalom.